Alright, you masters, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today we're going to talk about an update of my bug-out bag. Why another video about the bug-out bag? I say this every video because, yeah, you got to change your bug-out bag from now and then. Now it's winter, autumn and winter is coming, so the situation is whole different than in summertime. So, yeah, depending on the situation, you should do some sort of spring cleaning of your bug-out bag, see what's gone over date, see what's broken, see what's and also things that you learned that you can change, because I'm going to show you certain things that I'm going to change about my bug-out bag. And yeah, just so you know what's in your bug-out bag, that you do not forget it after a half a year and you take the wrong things with you. So yeah, if you can see, it's one big bastard on my back. But yeah, as with any bug-out bag, all of the weight is resting on the hips, so there's not really a problem on my shoulders pushing my back down that will create some back aching. So that's the first important thing. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing this trench coat. Well, I'm going to take off my bug-out bag and show you in a minute what's inside of it. Alright, the first thing that I always keep near my bug-out bag in case I have to leave within a few minutes is this trench coat. And it's why this trench coat? Because it can save a whole lot of equipment is what I want to say. As you can see, this covers my whole body. I know it looks like I'm one of those old French soldiers from the 19th century, but there's a reason why soldiers, and this is a trench coat from the Belgian army from what date was it? 1956. No, 1965, yeah. That's the year that this was still worn. But why? You should always wonder, why would people wear such things? Well, it's multifunctional. First of all, it's made out of wool. So even when I grab this greatcoat and I take my bug-out bag and I go, even when I get wet, when it's snowing, when it's windy, when there is bad weather, it will keep me warm, or at least keep me very more warm than that it can help me. Because wool retains 80% of its warmth even when it's soaking wet. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I would like to wear this on a bug out because, yeah, like I said, for warmth. Second, it's very durable. This material is strong. This is a jacket, like I said, from 1965. So, and it still looks like brand new, even though it's been worn by a soldier. So for duty, I don't know what that soldier all did in their duty, but it seemed to it's a good intact. You cannot do this with modern jackets. Even after wearing it for a year, there will be some holes, rips, and some damage to the jacket. That's another good thing. Another good thing is, if you're planning to make a fire on a bug out, I would love to have this because first of all, it will keep you warm. Second, if one of those sparks of the fire will get onto your clothing, this will have no problem. It is a little bit fire resistant. But if you do this with a modern jacket made out of plastic materials like nylon, when there is a spark landing on you, it will burn, melt the material and go straight through it, and you will have a hole in your jacket. You do not want that. With this, you can sit close to the campfire, and there's no problem. It will not start to burn. It will not. You don't have to put your arm into the fire. But if you sit very close to the fire, it will not start to burn. It will not start to melt. It will not get holes when there's sparks getting inside of it. So, and another thing, I made a whole video about it by the way, so I would suggest look at it. You can use this as an improvised sleeping bag because it's very long. As you can see, it covers almost to my feet. If I wear my very high hiking boots, then it can cover my whole body. As you can see, even from the neck to the whole body. And another thing is, even when you're sweating a lot, it will get damp, it will take up a lot of material, and it will start to evaporate. So you don't have the problem that your clothing will become wet because you're sweating, because you're doing a lot of effort of walking around with a bug bag on a bug out route. And there's one more thing that I wanted to say, but I forgot my train of thoughts. Perhaps I will remember it when I. So when you're using this as sleeping bag, yeah, it can be multifunctional and can save so much space when you do it. And another thing, I said this in the video, is the same thing. If you do not need this because it's too warm, you can roll it up and roll it, bind it together and carry it around your bug bag or around your body, like Soviet soldiers did, and that can save a lot of space when it starts to get warmer. So even in summertime, this thing is just freaking amazing. So yeah, I will take this off. The downside is it's a little bit heavier, but with all the weight mass that you can save from other materials that you will need for equipment, I will never go on a bug out without this jacket, is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to the next stuff. This is the bug out bag. We're going to do it part by part because it's not in a certain order that I put everything in it. So first of all, around the bug out bag, I have my woolen blanket. This is a very long woolen blanket. It's 1.5 meters in wide and it can become 5 meters long. And there are several reasons for that. First of all, when you carry wool, you can use it also for sleeping or making. It has all the good properties. Like I said, 80% of its warmth can be retained even when soaking wet. Because it's so long, 5 meters long, you can have several layers with air between it, and that will be a lot better to stay warm even when you're lying on wet ground. But we are not going to lie on wet ground, but in case you need to lay on damp ground in a shelter or something, this is a very good way to shelter yourself from the cold ground to retain your body heat. And you can do so much things with this. This is actually a great kilt. I made a video about all the things you can do with a great kilt. I would say look it up because it's a whole video on itself with all the survival properties. But even when your clothing that you carried in your haste during the bug out, you can take this off and you can use this to wear as a great kilt with just a belt. And that's just so many good properties with it. I would advise to look into that video, but I can say it's very much worth carrying the weight. And it's not really that much weight for all the benefits that you can see in that video, but I'm not going to call them all because otherwise we can be here for a very long time and I only have certain time to do this. First of all, when you carry your bug out bag, the most important thing that you need to grab directly is these are around the hip, around the parts that's connecting the hips where all your weight is lifting. First of all, some Israeli bandages. This is something between a tourniquet and a pressure bandage. So in case you get wounded, you have it directly next to you. You can grab it, open it, and put it around a limb that is wounded. And even when you're wounded somewhere else on your body, you can keep pressure on it with it. So yeah, I would say look into the video about Israeli bandages. Yet again, it's a whole video on itself, but it's one of the most important first aid kits stuff that you can have. Next thing is on the other side. A multi-tool. In this case, Swiss Army knife. It's one big bastard, so it has so many things that you can do with this. It's a whole video on itself. I made a video about it, so look it up, I would say. But even this would say this says it has 30 options that you can do with it. But if you look into survival, you will know you can do a lot of more. You can do triple the things if you have some imagination with it. So yeah, a Swiss Army knife, always have it directly at hand for every small task. Next thing, and it's very important, water. I always keep a metal field canteen with me. Why metal? Because if you drop this, it will not break. In contrary to those plastic or Nalgene bottles that you see in the camping stores, if those drops, they will break easily. And with this, you can put this on the fire and boil water to filter it or to purify it. So that's another benefit of this. And yeah, it's some people will say it will be heavier, but it's not that much heavier in my opinion, and especially not with all the benefits that I said that you can have with this. So always take a metal bottle filled with water. Next thing, that is actually not really that necessarily, but I always like to keep it with me. If you can see, this is just, as you can see, a very small roll up, but if you open it, it's a waterproof Tarp blanket. And why is this handy? Because if I'm going to sleep somewhere, I want to sleep dry. So it's not only for sleeping on a dry ground. It's also for if you want to do some basic tasks in the fields, cooking, cleaning yourself. You don't want to do that on dirty or wet or muddy ground. So if you can do this from this, that can save you a whole lot of dirty laundry that you have to wash during the bug out, or just to keep yourself dry and help yourself retain your body heat. So yeah, like you saw before, this is a very small thing, and yeah, you can fold it up directly. That's also the reason why I put it just directly. So if I'm going to sit down with my bug out bag, I can take it out, fold it open, and sit on it with my bug out bag and keep everything dry. Right. These are the exterior stuff. Now we're going to the main course. I'm going to open the bug out bag. So, first of all, I want to talk about, these are a few things that I would put inside of it. And yeah, I take this on because I go on exercise with my bug outs regularly, and I cannot take firearms with me because if the police caught me with that, that would be a whole lot of problems for me. So that's the reason why it's outside of my bag. So this is an air rifle. Why would you have an air rifle in your bug out bag? Well, to get into to hunt for small game. This is one of those, if you can see, Diablos, as they are called. These are very small pellets, and there are 500 of these pellets inside of this little tin can. But with a small air gun like this, you can hunt for small game like birds, squirrels, rats, rabbits, whatever you have walking around. You can get some food with that, and that's very handy. And also for self-defense, for deteriorate some aggressors. If somebody is pointing something like this at you, you don't know how much power this thing has, and you don't want to find out. So yeah, an air gun is something that I would definitely take with me during the bug out. And another thing that is in my bag with my air gun is this little box, and this contains a chip, and this chip contains all the picture of all my official documents. I'm talking about my identity card, bank information, insurance, deeds of my house, and such. Why? Because if you're going to be a refugee, you need to prove certain things, or for later when you come back and all your real papers are broken, are wet, ripped, broken, burns, whatever it is that could happen. It's always handy to have a copy with you, especially if you're going to be a refugee in another country. So yeah, you need to prove yourself who you are, and it can make the process to immigrate or to emigrate or to get in, to help your situation get better if you have your personal identification and informations. So that could help very much with it. Also, don't forget to take your wallet. This is a wallet, and I always keep a certain amount of money on top of it in case I need to directly go out. So during the bug out, sometimes it can be handy to buy people will, especially in the early stages of a disaster, people will still take cash money. So always have some cash on hand to buy certain things. Have some coin money to buy from those automatic machines. How do you say this? Vending machines where you can put a coin in and get water, food out of it. Those prices are less likely to change in a store. People can go, oh, there's a disaster, prices go up. But yeah, and also it can also be handy to have some cash on hand to stay at a hotel, motel, or something that you have to pay to have a safe night during the bug out. Can always be handy to have some cash with you. Oh, let's go first to the back, to the belly of the beast. First of all, gloves. I always keep some working gloves in my bug out bag for several reasons. Your hands are the most important things that you're going to need during your bug out. So take care of your hands. If you're going to do a task like chopping wood for a fire, you don't want to get splinters. You don't want to get into a building, crawl into a building and get your hands cut with broken glass, or whatever task you're going to do. You don't want to hack or saw things and get blisters. And those small wounds can get infected really quick. So especially when there is no professional medical professionals at hand, it can be very dangerous, even a small wound. So take care of your hands, don't get cuts and wounds. And during the night, you can keep these on for extra warm, to keep your hands and your fingers from freezing. So that's also a good thing to have. Next thing is a rain poncho. I always keep one of these in my bucket bag for several reasons. We all know this model. Why? This is where your face is going. So why one of these? First of all, I can build a shelter with it, so I can build a high shelter with it, especially with a roll that the beneath side is dry and above me keeps me also dry. So that's the reason you can open this up and it will be a whole white shelter that you can build above your head. And if you're going to walk in the rain or the snow with your bug out bag, I always prefer this above a raincoat, especially with a woolen greatcoat, like I said before, because you can take this, throw it over you, and it will also cover your bug out bag. So you don't have to have special covers for your bug out bag and for your body at the same time. So that can save a lot of time and space, and you can also use it as an extra layer as insulation on the ground when you're going to sleep and taking shelter. So yeah, it can also be the same purpose as sitting on the ground to keep yourself dry, but an extra one never hurts, and you can also catch rainwater in it. Next one. These are my actual shelters. So this is a tarp, a very lightweight tarp, and this is one of 4 to 3 meters wide. So yeah, especially in combination with this, this is one of those sleeping bag hammocks. I know this seems like it will take a lot of space, but you will always be sleeping dry with these, and yeah, especially if you're going to sleep with a woolen raincoat, it's very fun to sleep in one of these. You will be staying off the damp, wet ground or muddy ground where everything can get dirty. Another benefit is you can keep your equipment beneath you. It will also be no problem. You can keep an eye on it. You can keep an eye on the environment from your hammock. And another benefit is you will stay away from creepy crawlers like rats, insects. They will if you sleep on the ground, you have the chance that small critters and insects will look for your body heat and perhaps smell something very delicious. So I prefer to have one of these sleeping hammocks. I have the stuff to sleep on the ground, but if I have 2 trees, that is something that I prefer to do it, especially in combination with the lightweight tarp. So yeah, those are my shelter options. Alright, by the way, I want to mention this whole bag weighs about 18-19 kilograms. Some people will say that's very much, but I train every day in the fitness and I have never had really problems. For longer distances, yeah, but we will see. For long distances, you will use up some resources in it, like the food and it will take down the amount of weight in the further you go. So that's not really a problem in my personal case. Right, let's see, where shall we start? There is so much to see. First of all, I have a water filter. Always get a good water filter. Yeah, this is one of those Canteen Hiker Pros. You can just put this in the water. Yeah, you have to connect them. I keep them separated. And you can put this in your water canteen bottle and just pump it and the water gets filtered. So you cannot do this with every water, but yeah, it have helped me to get so much water, and it helps you to get water not only for cooking, but for drinking water, but also for cooking, cleaning, sanitation. Yeah, but you have to, if you're going to suspect that you're going to put your bug out bag a long time away, change the filter, I would say. Alright, next up, there is so much to see here. That is the next stuff. That is my copper mug. So why copper? Should we? Chew. I had to sneeze. So why a copper mug? Because you need less fire to heat this up, so you will need less fuel to get the same result as with the other metal mugs. It's kind of strong. You have to polish it sometimes with certain copper polish, but for the rest, the other benefit is if it gets a little bit dirty or with something that could infect you, copper kills pathogens. So it kills viruses, bacteria. So even when you have when you get a splash during the cooking of the food or filtering of the water and you get a splash, it will kill the bacteria, so it will keep clean whatever you do with it. So yeah, because it has antibacterial and anti-pathogen properties, I prefer a copper one, and it's not really that more heavier. And this is just my little jar of rice. It's a handful, so it's about 2 days of food for me at least, especially when I'm even when I'm doing some hard physical labor, and it fits right here in. So it's not really that much space that is lost in that way. All right. You know what? Let's go for the big one first. In my I'm a little stuck. So first of all, I'm gonna do it one by one because I filled the bowl with it. An emergency radio. Like you have to get the information some way. So with this kind of emergency radios, you can just listen to music or information from the government or local news to see where the dangers are. You can use a crank to get electricity to keep it functioning. You can listen to very far away. With this small radio, I can listen to news broadcasts from Germany, France, England, and even Spain. I once had some newscasts. So yeah, it can go very far away, and it has one of those antennas. It has a light in different modes, and also a big light, a small solar panel in case there is a lot of sun, but I don't really use that. There is a SOS signal here, but you can also charge it up with a USB, or you can charge batteries, or it's also a small power bank. That's what I'm getting at. So yeah, this small emergency radius, I would really put this in your bug bag, and it will also save other torch that you need during the bug out. So another thing, Shamak, I made a video about this. A Shamak has 50 survival uses, and yeah, in case you get cold, it's in case there's too much sun for shade, and as a towel for sanitation. There, like I said, look in the video and you will see. Look in the video that I made about Shamaks, and you will see 50 survival uses for this. So yeah, I'm not going to talk the whole thing about it. Here there are some extra clothing. I rolled them up in several layers. So what's inside of it? I will roll it open. First of all, some t-shirts, because yeah, t-shirts will get dirty, some underwear, another t-shirt. And now the more important things, this is actually what I would take with me, especially, first of all, woolen socks. Because like I said before, it will retain 80% of its heat, even though when it gets soaking wet. And another property I forgot to tell you about wool is it will not smell, because wool pulls moist off your skin, but not the oils that could feed bacteria that will cause bad smell. So the woolen jacket, the woolen blanket, and I would like to have woolen underwear, but it's very expensive. But yeah, what are you gonna do about it? And woolen socks, these will not smell even if you walk around with them a very long time in certain conditions. They will not start to smell. So yeah, and it will keep you very warm, and they are very durable. So yeah, that's the reason why I would choose woolen socks. The same thing goes for a balaclava. A balaclava is just like a ski mask, also made out of wool, of course, for the same reasons. If I'm going to sleep in my woolen greatcoat and it's very cold, your face is not covered, and this way you can still breathe and look around while your whole face is covered, and you will retain more body heat that way, because they say that 80% of your body heat will be lost through your head or something. I don't know about that statistic, but with this it should not be a problem. Another thing is you can also use it during the walking, and another thing is if you're going to wear it and you say I need something on my head, but a full face mask, people will not trust me. You can just roll it up like one of those burglars in the movie Home Alone, and you can wear it just like a hat like this. So that's all no problem in that way. Or sometimes you want to that people not recognize you for something, and especially when you're scavenging. So that's something that you need to watch out. So all those clothing were stored in my bowl. This is also yet again a copper bowl, cooking pot actually. And why would I use one of these? Because they are smaller things, but yet again I love copper for the property that it can kill bacteria and pathogens. So even when I cook something with it, it will stay clean. So it's easier to clean it. So yeah, and copper is also handier because it will guide heat better, conduct heat better. So even if you put it onto, you can put it on top of fire, you will need less fuel to heat it up, and because everything will heat up, it has a property that it will heat everything up. Because some pots, like metal pots or aluminium, if you put it onto a fire in the middle will get very hot, but the sides will be less warm. So you have to guess a little bit more when your dinner is ready, because the middle will be burned and the outside will not be fully cooked yet. So that's with copper, it will conduct the heat around the whole thing, so it will be more efficient to cook and less likely to get burnt food. And yet again, yeah, it's easy to maintain, and it's not really that heavy in my opinion. And that is actually the smallest copper pot that I could find, because smaller copper pots are hard to find for some reason. But I can put all my clothing inside of it, so yeah, why the hell not? Next thing, one more thing, because it conducts heat very good when you put it onto your fire, it will also lose heat very fast. So if you put it on the fire, it will get cold very fast, so you have less time that you have to wait to put it into your bug out bag, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, next thing is entrenchment tool. We all know this. Why many people would say, why would you put something like this heavy in your bug out bag? That's just way too heavy, but I prefer quality over something very cheap. Because when I'm going on a bug out bag with my bug out bag somewhere, I need stuff that I can rely on, that will not break when I need it the most. And the same thing goes with this entrenchment tool. You can do so many things with it. You can saw a little bit, you can shovel a latrine, you can build a campfire with it, like building a small wall. Also, a good thing is a self-defense tool. Many people underestimate that this shovel can be used for self-defense. Marines in the US Marine Corps, they train to use this as a melee because yeah, it's just so effective, especially when this is sharpened very fast. It's like a little hatchet that you can use with very much force because it's also heavy and hits like a mule. So yeah, don't underestimate the power of an entrenchment tool. And there are several other things you can do. I saw some hacks that people use it, that where they put it into the ground and they sit on top of the shovel to rest a little bit, but don't get wet. So yeah, entrenchment tool, very important. A little bit heavy, I admit, but for what you can do with it, it's worth it in my opinion. Alright, let's go to the next one. Let's start with my bug out emergency bag. What do I mean by that? That is actually the most important stuff in my opinion in the bag, and it's in a separate bag. Why? Because if I have to leave my bug out bag because it's too big to run from danger when I get about to get robbed, I can still throw this away and go on with this. It's something that you can carry around you easily. You can carry it around your back, your shoulders, or just like a, how do you say this? A fanny pack, is that the word? Oh. It's like elastic. And you can carry it like that, or something like similar. But everything that's inside of it are the most important things to my survival. I'm going to open it up like this. So first of all, an extra water filter. This is one of those life straws that you can directly drink from the source. I know that I have another filter, but this, the only downside is this you can drink directly, but you cannot put water to it unless you have a bottle, because it has a screw cap. But plastic bottles you can find anywhere, and you can squeeze it and it will push dirty water through the filter that you can put it into a container. So that way you can use the life straw like this. I will put it right here. Next thing that are on top of it are, first of all, my survival knife. This is a Glock knife, and it is one of the best knives in my opinion because it's just so solid. It does not rust a little bit because I take care of it. Has a saw blade, it's in balance and full tang. But this knife it's taken very thick, so you can sharpen it as much as you want, and it will go a long time. It's very strong also, so I can do a lot of things with it. It is flat on this side, so I can use it to chop a wood a little bit. And I put some duct tape around it, some needles, some thread that I put around it, and a sharpening stone. So yeah, this is just to save some room, and because it's in the smaller bag. So yeah, next thing that was inside of it is a saw. I find it very important to have a saw with you, because a saw can do. I prefer a saw over a hatchet because you can do so much more with a saw to build a shelter instead of getting a hatchet. And yeah, you can do so many things with it. But you have to see which one, because some are very cheap. Don't get the cheap ones. This is kind of a good quality, but yeah, I think I should get one of those silky saws from Canadian-prepper, but I'm happy for the moment with this, and you can do so much more with this than a hatchet. Get the snippers. Right, what's inside of the rest of the bag? First of all, a sharpening tool, and a sharpening tool for several fine to some rough stuff and to very fine stuff, and it has also a sharpening tool for one of those carteret knives. Could be handy to how do you say this, to sharpen the saw blades. Like, you can use it to sharpen saw blades, so I can use this much longer, or with my Glock knife, or with my multi-tool. So I like this little tool. It has also a fire starter, and you can use these sharpeners to make a fire. So yeah, that's very handy. It has also a small light, but I don't really trust the battery life of that because me and batteries are not good buddies. Of course, some matches, a pack of matches, you can never go wrong with it. Compass, and I want to express the importance of this kind of compass, because this kind of compass you can triangulate on a map, which is very important to find your way during a bug out if you have to exchange routes. A lighter, I know, it's just handier and always handy to have this with you, and even when it breaks, I think there's somebody at the door. Alright, sorry for the interruption, where was I? I was talking about the lighter. Even when the lighter is empty, you can use the little stones to use it on metal and make some sparks, so it's not really that lost. I should make a video about all the survival hacks you can do with the lighter, but it's for another time. Alright, let's open the other one. Of course, my multi-tool Leatherman. I know I have two multi-tools right now, but I use the Swiss Army knife for my EDC, so this is the multi-tool that is always inside of my bug bag. Of course, a small light, and this light is with a crank. It's a very small and cheap light, but I like to include it because in case my other light is broken for some reason, could happen, always handy to get one extra. So yeah, next thing that is inside of it, some thread. This is nylon thread. I like to have one of these with some nails and some needles in it, so I can use it to build a shelter or to sew some clothing. But this is a lot of nylon thread that you can use. That you don't. The reason why I have one of these is you don't need to use this a lot of paracord that way, so it can save a lot of space and volume. So it can also be used for fishing, and it's very strong. And yeah, nylon thread. Always have this with you. Another way to make fire. This is just some magnesium blocks, some fire starters. We all know these things. I recall now that I have a lot of fire starters in my bug out bag, and the reason why probably is because during all my bug out exercises, making fire was always the biggest problem. Starting a fire was always the biggest problem because I do it in certain weather conditions, misty, snowy, or just damp or rain. Yeah, that's not ideal to start a fire. But another way to make fire is this is one of those Yuko torches. Why I have one of these? Because in case my lights go out or I need just a light and I don't want to drain the battery because I will probably use it for or something more important tasks, I prefer to have this. This is more for if you're going to be in a shelter. And yeah, if you can see, there is a stack of tea light candles inside of it. These are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tea light candles inside of it. So each tea light candle is about 3 hours. So 7, 3, 21 hours of light is inside of this, roughly estimated. So yeah. Another thing is, if you're going to be in a small room and it's very cold, this could help heat up the room by a couple degrees. I've tested this out in my rooms in my house. In a small room, if you put this on, it can 1 or 2 degrees getting warmer by just lighting this thing, and it has a metal plate on top of it, so you can. Where's my? Here it is. So you can take your cup, put it on top of it, and it's not really good enough to boil it. But if you have boiled water and you put some coffee or tea in it, you drink it. This is actually a lot of room inside of it, so your tea will get cold. Your tea or coffee will get cold, so you can place it on top of this candle holder, and yeah, it will keep it warm. Is what I'm trying to say. And another benefit is just light. The thing I liked about this is you can hold it like this, that you do not burn your hands while holding a light candle inside of it like this. You can hold it like that and go into a building or move it around in your shelter. So yeah. Another thing that I like about this is if you have a candle that is lit, you can use it to make a fire. So if you have a lighter, you just have to light a candle, put it inside of it, and you can use it as a way to start a fire, because you do not have to build a fire and wait. Oh, it's starting. No, you have a way to generate enough heat to start anything with it. So yeah, like I said before, starting a fire was for me always one of the biggest problems, and this helped me so much to start a fire by having candles. I know candles are a finite resource in your bug-out bag, but yeah, this is a whole bag of whole package of tea light candles that I can use. So yeah, this is a whole month of light, heat, and fire starting inside of this small box together with this candle holder. So yeah, some people will say that's a little bit too much, but yeah, that's their opinion. Next thing is, yeah, like I said before, starting a fire has become a pet peeve of me, because yeah, starting a fire is very important. I think I will get rid of out of these fire starters, because I discovered a better way to start a fire. This is a steel wool. Everybody knows steel wool burns like a motherfucker when with the smallest spark. So yeah, it's very light. So perhaps I will keep these. This was some char cloth that I made that I put inside of it, but I will replace this with a new method that I found, and these are wicks drowned in lamp oil. The good thing about this is you can take one of those wicks out, because there is a dozen inside of this little thing, because there's also, if you can see, some lamp oil still left inside of it, so you can take it out. You can put it between your Kinder. You need 1 or 2 sparks to start it off. It will generate a lot of flame to start a fire, and you can take your Leatherman, take it out, blow it out, put it back in, and you reuse it the same thing later again. So with this, you have a whole month of starting fires with this. I think even longer. I will experiment with this, because this is a new concept to me. But from the test that I did so far, this works just very good. So I think I even will take the steel wool away, because it works just too great. Alright, another thing, the last 2 things in my bag is a brush. Why a brush? Because you will get muddy, your shoes will get muddy, your clothing will get muddy, and if you're going to wash your clothing, yeah, because you will see the washing soap that I use in a moment, but if you are very dirty, you can scrub first all the big muds, the big plaques of muds away with this, of your shoes, of your clothing, and yeah, that can be very handy and save you a lot of time. Another thing is a scouring sponge. Yeah, you know what it is, for scrubbing pots. And if you what I see so many people forgetting is, when they are cooking with any cooking pot, they never have something to clean it. They will think, oh, I will use one of my Shamaks or something else to just wipe it out. But sometimes the shit that you cooked is burnt a little bit from the inside, especially when you're using not copper pots. It will get burnt very easily, and it's hard to get that out. So you need something to scour it a little bit. And the reason why I use this scouring sponge is because it's made out of copper yet again, so it will be more cleaner and less likely to infect something else with because it has anti-pathogen properties. So yeah, very handy. All right, that was the back. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, some isolation duct tape, always handy with you. This is my first aid kit. If you're going to open it like this, what's inside of this first aid kit? I will not fully open everything because there are several things inside of it. I will just show you. these are some medications like aspirin, sodium tablets, in case of a nuclear accident, some tape, emergency blanket, and some how do you say this? Some gauges. This is another how do you say this? Israeli bandages, a tourniquet. Yeah, could always be handy as when shit hit the fan or when there is even after a fight or something. A tourniquet always handy. Some this is actually some strong gin. It is over 40%. So it is not only for drinking at the campfire, but also to clean wounds, so they will not get infected. So yeah, always handy to have these. Some gauges, some bandages. They're just the small things, as you can see. And it is a block of soap with glycerin. Why do I have this? Because soap with glycerin, you can not only wash your body and your hands with it or a wound, you can also use it to wash your clothing. I always use this soap with how do you say this? When there are some spots that are hard to get out, with this soap with glycerin, I can just wash it, rub it onto the spot, soak it into some water, and it will usually get the spot out. So washing your clothing is something that is often underestimated during a bug out. You need to keep yourself clean, but also your clothing, because it will also help to present yourself to other people in times when you need help, or if you need a favor from somebody, or if you're going to pass a garden board. If you're going to pass a garden board and you're all stinky, dirty, and such, they will less likely to let you go in because, yeah, human nature. All right. Now we're coming to the one last. First of all, if you're going to have a compass, also have a map. I have here several maps of different sizes that I can use through whole Belgium with this. So it's not only a map of Belgium, but also 2 maps of smaller parts of Belgium, because I can see more of the natural resources like water sources, rivers, towns, and all that kind of stuff. So it's easier to navigate that way. Now, this is my food box actually. This is actually one of the heaviest things inside of my bug out bag by item. So, but what's inside of my eating box? Take this a little bit away. That's the reason why it's in a box like this is so moisture will not get into my food, and yeah, we don't want that. But what do I take with me as food for my bug out? I'm a person who does not really need a lot of food for a long time. My problem is if I eat food, I get fat really fast. But the plus side is, for example, I went hiking for 4 days for 78 kilometers with my bug out bag, and yeah, I just needed one of my emergency rations of 2,300 calories, and I was just fine for the whole trip. But yeah, during a bug out, you don't know how long you're on the way to your bug out location. Sometimes because of you need to go through other ways. Some ways are too dangerous, collapsed bridges. Yeah, you don't know. You always have to take more food than you think, is what I'm trying to say. Another thing is sometimes there will be other people during the bug out and they will need help. And yeah, if you don't give a hungry person food, they will more likely to be attacking you. Especially parents with hungry children. They are the most dangerous things during a bug out. Alright, what's inside of it? Let's make it very quick. Just a spoon, plastic spoon, a spork actually. So yeah, in case you get something. For a knife, I would just use my multi-tools. Honey is one of those best things. It will never spoil, and it gives you great energy, and you can use it as a layer on wounds that will be antibacterial, antimicrobial. So yeah, honey is multifunctional. I made a video about this, all the good things. Is also the reason why I put this in my bug out bag. Salt. Yeah, I know it is a little bit more salt, but since then I have an air gun to hunt animals, you will have you cannot. Sometimes you have too much meat and you need to to preserve it. So that's the reason why I have more salt, and it's also handy for dehydration during summertime if you sweat too much. Another thing is for just to make things taste a little bit nicer and to preserve meat. So yeah, that's the reason why I have so much salt. Another thing I want to mention is uh, vitamins. These are multivitamins. And why do I have this in my bug bag? Because I'm experimenting at the moment with only for a whole week. I will only eating rice and taking one multivitamin with it, so I can have all the nutrients from the multivitamins, but all the nutrients and minerals and vitamins from the multivitamins, and all have the calories from the rice. So that's what I'm experimenting at this moment, and it's going good because it's doing this when I'm working on a work day, so it's a whole day of working, and I'm going to the gym afterwards, and still I eat every day 200 grams of rice together with one of these tablets, and yeah, I'm holding up very good. I'm very surprised with the results, to be honest. Next thing, spices. Always handy if you get something that will not taste that good. Have some spices. These are just the small things like tea, coffee, a wet towel, and some electrolyte energy drink powder that you can mix with water. So yeah, just standard things. And here we come to the meat and the potatoes, so to say. A bag of oatmeal. Why oatmeal? Because if I've discovered something that during my workout exercises, if I want to make a quick meal that I don't have time to cook something, I can just take my mug, take a spoon, put some water inside of it, take some oatmeal, put it in, mix it, and directly you can eat it that way, and you have energy and actually a whole meal while on the go, that you do not need to make a fire that could create smoke or can take some of your focus off in case there is danger. And it's fast and easy to make. In 1 minute you have a whole mug of oatmeal that you can directly eat. Just rinse it with water and you can keep going. This is something that I learned from a Scottish hiker, and yeah, it works like a charm and it's very handy. And the next thing is these are emergency rations. These are the Convar 7 emergency rations. Each one of these are 500 calories, and they are coming different, 3 different tastes: peanut butter, chocolate, but most of them are the multivitamins ones. So these are the mostly ones because I don't know. You cannot always rely on plants to get all your nutrients that you find on the way. Even if you're an expert, especially during autumn and winter, there is not always enough plants to give you the right amount of nutrients of certain things like vitamins or minerals. So that's the reason why I use most of them are the multivitamins. So they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times 500 calories. So these are a lot of days that you can eat. And in my case, I don't need that much of them to function well. So for me, it's even longer than the most persons. It's not because most persons don't have the will or something. It's just my metabolism is very slow. So with less food, I can do more than most people. But the downside is during just regular times, I get fat really fast. So that's why I need to exercise every day. But yeah, everything has the good side and everything has a downside. So yeah, I'm ready with my bug bag. The last thing I would say is you don't really need to do this, but in case you are a little bit forgetful, get a pocket handbook of the survival guide, especially the SAE survival guide. In case you forget some things, how to build shelter, recognize plants, making traps, all that good stuff. Just a small tip. Another thing I would say is put some, if you have gold or silver, put them in your bug bag, and yeah, in case you are expecting to never come back. But if your bug bag is ready at home, put it in a place where you can reach it and evacuate within a minute. But if you are not home and there is an intruder, a burglar or something, make sure that he cannot find it directly. Or because a bucket bag, these are a lot of stuff that will cost a lot of money, or something that is hard to find in my cases. So I always try to put it somewhere where burglars will not likely be looking, or when they're finding it, they will think, oh, it's just something between in a garbage bag, for example, to camouflage it. So yeah, just also a small tip. So yeah, like I said, this was my bucket bag update for autumn and winter, and I hope you learned something from it. If you have some other tips that I can use to spare out some weight or mass, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thank you, and see you next time. Cheers.